What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We got quite a busy week ahead of us. We got a bunch of projects we need to get done. Let's dive right into it. So, as you can see with the list right here, we have quite a bit of projects we gotta take care of. First one being my truck. My truck's got a boost leak. I noticed that the last 2 times I went out towing something with it, it just was super down on power and it wasn't feeling really good at all. We looked into it and I found out that my intercooler piping came loose in some spots. So let's dive into the truck, get that fixed. So I disconnected the main intercooler pipe, and as you can see right there, the custom Y that I have on this coupler is kind of getting pulled off on this plenum. So these intake plenums have no bead on them. And I don't really want to dive into tearing all these apart because there's a lot of fuel stuff in the way that I'm not ready to tackle just yet. But I want to put a bead on them, and I'm going to take these pliers that I modified forever ago. These are just some Harbor Freight electrical crimpers that have that dent, and I cut them. And I was basically able to make beads before with some custom intercooler piping I made for my Mark III TDI, which I will throw a picture of it on the screen here. So we take our pliers with the pointy end in, and we just pinch and pinch, and then we kind of just go all the way around. Okay, as you can see, there's a nice little dip right on there. It actually has a nice lip now, all the way around. It's a little lip, but it is a lip nonetheless. So that should help us get it on there. I did this side as well, so we should be able to put the Y back on. As you can see, we kind of offset this Y, so this side's longer, so this pipe is farther away from the turbo. And I guess we should have stuffed it even farther over. Now let's see how that elbow fits. It's gonna be tight. It's gonna be touching that, but I can reposition it. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I think it's just gonna push itself over again, so I think I'm gonna take this Y off and trim just a little bit of that. I gotta be really careful though. Okay, I pulled maybe a 1/4 inch off of this thing. Let's see if that did it. There we go. That's better. Okay, that's looking much better. It's no longer sitting on the fuel bowl. It's nice and close, and the couplers are fully seated down in there. So, should be good to go again for a little while. If I have any issues, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alrighty, now that that's done, we just gotta move on to John's white Audi. We gotta get that thing back together and get it on the road. We made a lot of progress on it last week, not enough to make a full video out of it. So let's show you what we did last week first.
Flashback.
We got to get drive shaft hooked up, 2 CV axles, actually 1 CV axle because this one needs to be replaced. And what else we gotta do down here?
Exhaust.
Oh, and the exhaust, but that requires putting the turbo on.
Here you go.
Very nice.
Very nice. End A flashback.
Now that we're that far, we got the motor to run. We're just gonna quickly button that thing up and get that running and driving so John can have a nice little daily again. Alrighty, got the white car in here. We gotta steal some more parts from Silver Car, but it's a beautiful day. It's gonna be like a high of 75 today. It's gonna be awesome. Gonna put Silver Car just out in the driveway, steal a couple parts off that, get this thing done.
A few moments later.
Okay, change of plans. Silver Car's in here now because we need a couple parts off of this. We need the crank gear, we need the bash bar, and a couple other little things. But this motor is basically disconnected, so we're just gonna pull it out because this motor's bad. This car needs to get running and driving again. So we're just gonna start that process because it's already halfway there. John tried to talk me into this earlier, but I said no, and you know, now we're here again, doing it. All right, since we've done nothing but pull motors and transmissions for the past couple weeks, I think I'm just gonna skip this, and then we'll just see y'all when we're actually pulling the motor.
More moments later.
Now that we are this far, we're questioning if this was the most efficient way to do this, but here we are. So we gotta get the crank pulley and the pulley off of this motor. Pull this out, clean this up a little bit so we don't have to deal with this just grease mess, and then take the timing components off of this. So now that's there, we can get this thing back on wheels, roll it out of here. And yeah, then we should have everything we need to finally finish the white car over here. Now's the time to put this whole thing back together. We need to get the passenger axle replaced. We got a new one that we just gotta pick up at O'Reilly's. Need to swap out this timing crank gear with a older version. This is a newer 2.0. And then it's bolt the front end on, fix the crazy oil leak we had, bleed the clutch, hook up all the coolant lines. And yeah, that's it. Is there anything else, John? Cool. Easy peasy. We once again got struck by incompatibility of different year parts. The axle we ordered won't fit the hub. I guess they're different sizes, so we gotta order a different axle. And then that's it. That's all we have to do left of the car. We bled the clutch, got the front end on. We did try and start it just to have some sort of victory tonight, and this oil filter's still leaking. We took it apart, tried to make it tight, but as you can see, still just pissing oil. So I guess we're gonna try a different filter. I was hoping to have this thing done so we can work on the next project tomorrow, but we can get this thing wrapped up and then hopefully still dive into something else. With that being said, it's late. We gotta get started pretty early tomorrow, so we'll see y'all tomorrow. And we are back. We got a new axle ordered for this thing. We gotta wait till that gets here. But in the meantime, I'm gonna try and do some cleaning real quick. So we got Silver Car's motor and transmission out. The motor is done, so that thing is gonna be probably rebuilt. I don't really know what we're doing with that thing. But the transmission's eventually gonna go back in Silver Car, so we're gonna try and clean this thing up because this thing's nasty. And I don't wanna clean this thing up. I bought this saw off of Marketplace. This is gonna come in handy a lot for like Bronco projects and all sorts of things. So try and clean this thing up and make it look good again. All right, transmission cleaned up super great. Now we're gonna separate it from this motor and tuck all this to the side. It's also cleaned up real well. It doesn't look used anymore. So this will be a fun little project. We'll dive into this when we actually start doing some fab work.
Later.
Okay, so we yet again got another wrong axle. I don't know what this one's for, but it's not compatible with our axle cup to the transmission. This has been a fiasco. So we're gonna try and start it. If she runs good and doesn't piss oil or leak anything, we're gonna go drive to Salt Lake at the hub and pick up the proper axle.
Two hours later.
All right, is this gonna be the ticket?
Wrong one.
Alrighty, this thing is buttoned up, the bumper's on. Looking much better. It would look really good if it was lowered right now, but it ain't. Doesn't look the worst though, that's for sure. Definitely could, there's definitely some worse setups, not lowered. Yeah, we're gonna go drive this thing around, find a good spot to take a thumbnail, and just enjoy all of our work real quick.
Tomorrow.
Alrighty, next morning, John came back, got dropped off, gonna finally drive this thing home. Excited to finally drive it? Have a daily again?
Yeah. This was supposed to be a weekend swap. And it turned into a 3-weekend swap. Yeah, I expected to leave that car alone. I'd fix it another time. The motor was supposed to just go straight into the white car, but the white car is a pre-facelift. It's an earlier model, and I used a late model engine, so I had to take all the accessories from the silver car, which is a late model car. So that turned into a parts car, and now that's a whole other project in itself, but I'm glad this one's done.
Yeah.
It needs suspension really bad. I know, it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah.
But, I got eager. I had new wheels and tires.
Well, the parts car has suspension, but we couldn't get the struts off of this one.
Yeah,
so
the upper knuckles where the tie rods connect, or the upper arms connect, those bolts were seized. So
yeah,
we'll work on that. I do have suspension on the silver car. I got to pull it off and put it in here. That was the whole plan, but it didn't work out that way. So I guess this might be a 4-weekend swap. Yeah.